All right, YouTube. I got a video for y'all today. It's just something I wanted to touch on, and that's how to count your sets. To me, this seems pretty logical, but I run into this problem all the time whenever I work out with new people and whatever, and that's people counting warm-up sets as sets, and those are not sets. So, like, a lot of times I'll work out with somebody and they're like, "I'm done. I did all 5 of my sets," and I'm like, "What?" Like, I haven't even gotten to my first set yet, because I'll go the bar 135. I'll work my way up into a working set, which is usually heavier, especially with free weight movements. And by the time I get there, I did 1 set, and they're like, "I already did 5 sets," and I'm like, "What do you mean you did 5 sets? You did pretty much the same thing I did, but you only did 1 set." And so one of the biggest problems that I see, especially in new lifters, is counting the sets that actually don't matter. So that set you did with 135 doesn't matter. That set you did with 185 doesn't matter. Let's say your goal is to get to 225. That's what matters. You did 1 set of 225. So if your program calls for 3 to 5 sets, that's the weight you need to use. You need to use that weight for every single set. And it's usually around like the 80 to 85% of your max weight or whatever. But anyways, that's a whole other video. My point is, counting sets that don't matter is one of the biggest problems I see, especially in new lifters. And this is going to cost you a lot of gains, right? Like, you want a progressive overload, you want to hypertrophy, you want to do all that. Great. You're not going to do it if you're just doing 1 set of every exercise. I don't care if you have 5 exercises on there. If you only do 5 sets, you left that workout and only did 5 sets. And that's not going to get you anywhere. It's definitely not going to get you the gains that you want, right? You look at people and you're like, how do they get there? How do they do that? It's because they're not doing exactly that. They're not going in there and they're not counting that set with the less weight and whatever. And they're not working up. They're basically like the newer people are basically pyramiding. And there's a time and place where you pyramid up. And this is basically what you see in my video. It's just me pyramiding up to heavy sets to kind of test my strength and see where I'm at, so that I can program in the future and see, what weights am I going to use? How am I going to structure this? How do I progressive overload? Okay. In the video, you're going to see I power clean and push press 205. So in the future, I'm probably going to work on power cleaning with like 185 for, more volume. Excuse me. Power cleaning, somewhere around 185, and whether I strict press or push press or whatever the fuck, I'm going to do more volume at that weight so that I can build the rest of my body to be able to withstand heavier weight. And then that's when, you start moving up in weight as progressive overload. Generally, your free weight exercises, so, all your barbells and basically all your dumbbells, not all dumbbells, like lateral raises, for example, I don't think you need to go heavy 3 sets of 5, right? But in general, my rule of thumb is, and everybody's different, everybody's body responds differently, somebody's going to tell you that my training is crazy or that it's wrong or whatever, fine. But this is just the way that I see things, and it's kind of just a rule of thumb, is if you're using a barbell or dumbbells, and these are compound movements, so we're talking like basically the strength measuring exercises, right? Your bench, squat, deadlift, your power clean, your snatch, and things like that, right? You can substitute bench press with dumbbell press, right? It's the same thing, incline dumbbell press, whatever. Those are going to be your heavier movements. Those are going to be your 3 sets of 5 to 8, and that's 3 sets of 5 to 8 with 1 weight, not, I was dumbbell pressing and I went 50s, 65s and 80s and I did 3 sets. No. That 80 was your only set, or that 65 was your only set if that's your working weight. Whatever you can do, the multiple sets with, the goal amount of whatever your set goal is for, or whatever your goal for your sets is, right? If you're aiming for 3 sets, if you can do that with the 60s, do it with the 60s. If you can do it with 80s, do it with the 80s. But do all 3 with that weight, and it should be challenging. You shouldn't go to failure, at least not every set. But it should be challenging. It should be hard. It shouldn't be easy. So that's one of the biggest things that I see, especially in new lifters, is that they count sets that don't matter. The second thing is going way too close to failure way too often. That's the other thing is, in my personal opinion, 2 to 3 times a year, you should be touching close to failure or failure, and that's it. And that's just, again, to monitor, like, am I getting stronger? What is my, what's my max bench press now? Safely, not, you don't want your fucking be all like this and shit. Like, that's like cool, the weight might have went up, but really your body's not prepared to handle that weight. And this is where the volume and the training under lighter weights comes in handy, is because you're training the rest of your body to be able to withstand that weight. And that's how you see people lifting heavy weights with perfect form, or damn near close to perfect form, is because they've spent that time doing that extra volume. Like I said, those actual sets, and all the other muscles that like, I think in this video, I'm not sure where I'm at in terms of timing when I say this, but you're gonna see me bench 315 and my elbows are shaking. And one, that's bad, because that just means that there's muscles that aren't up to the standard of that weight. Sure, I can push the weight, but the rest of my body can't. And there's something lacking, there's something that I have to build up, so I need to spend more time in like that 270, 275 range, doing more reps and building up those shaky muscles, so that the next time I go to bench heavy, my elbows aren't shaking, whatever. And when you're going for 1 rep max, there's going to be form breakdown, but in my opinion, for me, that was a 3 rep max, and there was no reason for there to be form breakdown, and that was way too close to failure. The shaky muscles, all that does is increase your chance of injury. Your muscles are shaking and you have them under max load. You could cramp, you could tear a muscle, you could cramp, which causes you to tear a muscle. There's a whole bunch of things that can happen. So that's bad. That was very bad on my end. I let this guy hype me up, and ego got in there a little bit. And I also wanted to know if I could hit 315, but my point being is, your day-to-day training should be pretty decent amount of volume. And then a rule of thumb for me is, again, the compound movements should be heavier. Then you get to your machines, which should be moderate, and then you get to your cables, which should be light. So your heavy compound movements, 3, maybe 4 sets of 5 to 8 reps. Your machines, you're around the 10 to 12 rep range, and it should be challenging, but you don't go to failure, but it should be challenging. And again, this is 3 to 5 sets of the same weight. Not, I throw on a plate on the hammer strength, that's 1 set. I throw on a plate and a quarter, that's another set. I throw on 2 plates, that's another. No. You pick one weight that's challenging, that you can get 3 sets of, and then over time you work on building that. So anyways, that's your moderate weight, is your machines, like your hammer strength and whatever. And then you have your cables, which are like your tricep pull downs, your chest flies, your rear delt flies. Those are the isolations. Those should be lighter, because you really want to focus on a specific muscle. And it's best to do that under lighter weight, right? Like, you're not recruiting other muscles to take over the load. So your cables are always going to be lighter. No one cares that you can fucking tricep push down with the V-bar the entire fucking stack. Like, half the gym can do that. No one cares. You're not strong. That's not a measurement of strength. If you want to prove your strength, do it in the lifts that are used to measure strength, the competitive lifts, your bench, squat, deadlift, power clean, and snatch. If you want to prove that you're strong, do it in that. Or your squat, I think. Oh, I already mentioned that. If you want to be strong, improve those things. That's what makes you strong. Nobody's gonna look at you and go, "Wow, you can fucking tricep push down the entire stack, big fucking whoop," right? Weighted pull-ups, that's another one. If you can weighted pull-up for reps, your body plus 90 pounds, that's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? So that, for back, pendulum rows too, which is where the row starts at the ground and you pull it, and the idea is that you don't use your legs at all or whatever. If you can pendulum row, above 225 clean, that's a pretty good measure of strength. Obviously, if you bench press 225, it's a decent measure of strength. If you bench press 315, that's impressive. If you bench press 405, you're like a freak of nature. Deadlift, it's the 4, 5, 6. So from bench press you go up to 4, then from deadlift you go 4, 5, 6. So 400's a good measure of strength. 500 is like impressive, and 600 is you're probably a freak of nature. Unless you weigh 600 pounds and you're only deadlifting your body weight, but you know what I mean. Squat, somewhere in the middle. A 500 pound squat, like, I'll never not double take at a 500 pound squat. Anything above that, I think, is pretty insane. To depth, you know, and all that. But anyways, that's what I got for today. I just wanted to mention not counting your sets right is a huge mistake that a lot of people are making. And so, yeah, that's the video. Not too much footage going on in terms of, you know, my life. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Steve, but I can't really post all that because it's his content technically. Some of it I can, some of it I can't, some of it I'll tease, whatever. But in terms of my life, it's been pretty straightforward. Just wake up, gym, work, go home, done. And on my days off, if I got something to do with Steve or whatever, if I go meet up with Damien, that's that, whatever. But my life's been pretty steady, which is good. I like the steadiness. And yeah, as you see, you know, I'm improving on my goals. My financial situation is drastically improving. My gym and my physique stuff is improving drastically. My alcohol habits are getting almost non-existent. So, you know, all the things that I set out to do with this channel are pretty much in line. And, you know, I jinxed myself the other day. I said, you know, everything's going good and knock on wood, nothing bad happens, and I got suspended from my day job. But anyways, I was able to handle that because I had my finances are all taken care of. So it wasn't such a, oh my God, like burden as it would have been if I was paycheck to paycheck. So anyways, yeah, things are getting good. Things are going great for me. This YouTube channel has definitely helped a lot. And anybody watching, I know there's not a lot of you guys, but for the people that do watch and the people that do watch every video and keep up with me, I appreciate it greatly. If this is your first video watching, thank you for watching this entire video. I hope that you like, comment, and subscribe. And all that good stuff you already know, all the YouTubers always tell you, so I don't really have to go too much into detail. But with that said, if you're new to the gym or if you're in the gym at all, stop counting weight or sets that don't fucking matter, all right? Okay, bye.